Stealth in games is a real mixed bag. It's either this super well thought out fun mechanic that the game is designed around, or it's needlessly punishing bullshit that makes me want to rip my dick off, spit it above my head, and scream. But Sly 2, 3, and Tit, yes, even Tit, are great examples of the former, while Sly 1 sidesteps the whole issue by being a platformer, and as you may have guessed, is my favorite, because the stealth amounts to a tiptoe sound effect. But what if it wasn't? What if I ruined my favorite Sly game? I'm Nick, I'm a he, him, and I decided to try to beat Sly Cooper and the thievius raccoonus, aka Sly Raccoon if you swing that way, without ever getting caught. Grab your favorite tail plug and let me tell you the tale of how I got boned in Sly 1 for like 5 weeks of my life. After I find a way to reattach my concentrate, I'm about to tell you the rules. I have to beat the story of Sly 1, meaning getting to and beating the final boss, with these rules. Rule 1, I can't set off any alarm, as in spotlight or laser, at any point. And if that were it, I'd tell you to click off now, dislike, unsubscribe, but I'm not saying that, and don't do that. Because, rule 2, I can't be caught by any guard. A guard in this context is any hostile non-boss enemy, like flashlight guards, who have a clear visible area that if entered will alert them to Sly's presence. But also, the worst kind of guard, radius guards, who will instantly see Sly whenever he enters their personal space. And just so it's said, guards include non-sentient creatures like dogs, mosquitoes, and cops. Rule 3, I must be in control of base Sly's moveset, so vehicle levels don't count and neither do Murray or Bentley levels. Rule 4, the level has to have a vault, with the only exceptions being world hubs and 2 specific levels in World 5. Rule 5, no triangle abilities. This is my version of ball torture, honestly. Rule 6, I'm on PS5, so no rewind feature. And Rule 7, save states are okay, just so I don't have to do a ton of resetting. With my rules set, I am ready to regale my regal ringtail tale. After the first cutscene, which I can reload my data to skip, for this prologue, Sly is meant to get up to the vent, go down the elevator shaft, enter the police headquarters, get into Carmelita's office, steal her case file, go down the fire escape, and run to the getaway van. During this, there's 2 spots I could get caught. Once by the lasers in the elevator shaft, and the other by Carmelita on the fire escape. The lasers are easy to avoid, but the real struggle is cock-blocking Sly. But not to worry, I'm up to the task. Back when the Sly Collection came out on PlayStation 3, I learned that I can jump onto this far antenna, onto this sledge, then leap right, double jump left, and fall under the death barrier, skipping both the lasers and Carmelita. And I'm contractually obligated to say that this is no longer the optimal strat. Once I pull up to the getaway van, I'll consider this tutorial entirely complete. Now, if I were to run Tide of Terror completely glitchless, Sly would get caught a minimum of 25 times over all 7 treasure key levels and the world hub. Which is entirely too high. Thankfully, I didn't play this challenge like a goo goo gaga baby. I played it like a man, with glitches fully allowed. And in World 1 Level 1, a stealthy approach, it starts with one thing. Leave a like if you're saying I don't know why. This was the first instance of spotlights and the ever lovely radius guards. But right now, I gotta give a shout out to King Dragoon 24 in the Sly Speedrun Discord for helping me during this challenge. I will shout out each person specifically as their contributions are relevant, like Zenthrow's Speedrunner Beginner's Guide, which taught me how to sign proxy. Nick, those were sure words, I hear you say. They were words, and I'll even elaborate on them. Sign proxy is getting Sly stuck in this sign, then getting him launched into the stratosphere. What happens is, when Sly gets stuck, the game will eventually launch him out as an anti-softlock measure. But it has some unintended consequences if he bumps anything while being ejected. So what good does that do me? Well, it works in tandem with this next trick called the Van Void Drown. Shout out to ChimpyChonga and King Dragoon 24. This skip requires 2 tricks working together: void drowning and super jumping, both of which I'll explain later. After a successful sign proxy, I jump up this rock, make my way to this lower lip, line up to the right of this ship's mast, jump down onto this invisible platform, walk to its edge, jump to this metal bridge piece, onto this post, then super jump to these rocks, then to this far rock, ledge grab the back of it, edge Sly's cane along the grass, hey yo, And lastly, hold down on the D-pad and press X. If done correctly, this will drop Sly into the water, causing the injury animation. But he'll also start to fall into the void, and the further he falls, the farther the resulting slingshot will be. Now I do need a lucky charm for this. For those who don't know, think of it akin to a mushroom from Mario, giving Sly an extra hit. A silver lucky charm with a blue glow is 1 extra hit. Gold lucky charm with a gold glow is 2 extra hits. My raccoon recommendation is to die 4 consecutive times in Paris, as this will auto-generate one, but it can also be done here too. So with a lucky charm, I did the Van Void drown, and Sly was catapulted all the way to the end of the level. Then I dropped down, swiped the key, and moved on to Raleigh's hideout. The World Hub is called Prowling the Grounds, and I happen to already know a skip here. In the second half of the hub, if I insert Sly's nose into the cannon shaft, then super jump all the way to this opening and land between these barrels and the metal walkway, I'll fling Sly back into the load zone and blast him right into Raleigh's boss fight. So real quick, let me explain super jumping. When Sly lands, he sets his grounded position. You can see it activate if dust appears under Sly's feet. However, if one were to jump and then jump again with no dust by pressing X just before landing, one could chain that to a proxy spot and be flung all the way back to the grounded position. That's super jumping. Also, cane swings extend the landing frames. But how do I reach the cannon? Before I can even get to the second half of the hub, I have to collect 3 treasure keys and open up this generator, then smash it to enter this tube. This is where Neon, Ritsu, and Mapio come into the picture, as they created a whole new skip just for this run, called the Void Drown Launch. Here's what I had to do. When coming out of the first level, I gotta activate this next cutscene, then load the game. That'll skip the cutscene and place me on the boat. I can grab at least 1 lucky charm, then go back to the cutscene platform. The reason I had to trigger the cutscene initially was because if not, well, Sly just won't be able to work the pole. But with this cutscene watched and the lucky charm got, I can go back to the start, jump on this rock, then jump right and slightly forward to get out of bounds. I run to this high point, then super jump all the way down to this corner. Ledge grab, X. Press down, R3. Then I'll put the edge of the camera about midway through this far away triangle. Then hold X and up on the D-pad, and I'll void drown again. This time, I'll get launched clear over Raleigh's hub. So to avoid being sent to the moon, Sly can attack in midair, which causes his momentum to halt. So I'll press square just after the peak of the slingshot to land in the second half of the hub. Then I'll cannon super jump like before and defeat Raleigh without ever being caught. With that toad totally toasted, I'll hop along to For Sunset Snake Eyes, the glitchless caught count would be 27. Seems Raleigh wasn't lying about it being well guarded. World 2 Level 1, a rocky start, is no exception. I got rocked, because it's absolutely littered with radius guards, and the only way to bypass them is to let this dog on a leash proxy me into next week. Shout out to Neon and their video that taught me this little trick called Cletus Yeetus. Basically, I'll step on this crack, sorry about your back, mom, and then I'll look at this plant with the binocucom. And after the first Cletus bark, I'll jump and hold X, which holds my momentum. I'll land, and when Cletus snaps back, I'll run into the corner by his post, he'll nudge me away, and because I held my momentum, I'll get catapulted out of bounds, then I can make my way to this jailbird dog, and once I defeat him, I can make my way to the key, defeat the card dog, and move on. Except, that would mean I got caught by 3 guard dogs, and you're barking up the wrong tree if you think I'm gonna leaf it like that. But at the time, I didn't have a better choice, so we'll have to dig that bone up later. Now, you might be a little nervous, even if I play this world perfectly from here on out, I'll still forcibly be caught by Carmelita later on, right? Well, of course not, you silly. I'm gonna use a trick called Catapult, which will let me completely skip the other 6 levels. Shout out to Get His for his beginner guide. In the World Hub, Mugshot's Turf, I'll jump past the first guard, and keeping this car locked, that's very important, I'll smack this other guard. Then go to this corner, run forward, position the camera so that in this opening I see a yellow triangle, then I'll stop, jump, and as I descend, hold up and right on the D-pad and swing Sly's cane to send him higher than Creed. With some tricky maneuvering, I'll get onto this nearby roof, jump onto this invisible wall, and run along the outside until I can drop onto this balcony. Then super jump from this curtain to the right side of Mugshot's mustache and jump into the curl, which slingshots me through the load zone and into the boss fight. Avoiding those 6 levels better than I avoid my extended family. Now, I will need 1 lucky charm, which I can pick up anytime from prowling the grounds, and unfortunately, the stick guy at the top of the stairs in front of Mugshot's mugshot did catch me. So adding 1 more to my total score, for now. But once I flex on Mugshot, I'll press on to World 3 Level 1 is the Dread Swamp Path, and this level can be broken immediately with a little trick called Van Proxy. Shout out to Snuggles for this one. When the van enters the level and Sly hops out, I'll inch to the right 3 times, I'll press left on the D-pad, jump and hold left, run into the wall and turn the camera till it can't anymore. Then press up left, and once the camera zooms in, press the map button. Then let go of the D-pad and exit the map. Now I'll line up the camera with the second far rock and hold down. Once out of bounds, I can run this way, leap back into the end of the level, hit the 5 candles, and get the key without being seen. Without that glitch, Dread Swamp Path would have been at least a 7 caught count. Ms. Ruby's lair conversely only has 1 caught point, and it's this spider after using the snake to break the gate. And the way to prevent this is to keep your snake in its den, hamana hamana awooga. I'll use a sequence break that I'll explain later. Speaking of my giant snake, first up is Lair of the Beast. I have to play all 7 levels here. There is no known skip to get directly to Miss Ruby. This level is the best skip ever. I'll go to this spot, jump on this mask, over to this wall, then I'll run and jump along this wall and hop down, jump up 1 more time, then fall down to the left to reach the vault and the key without alerting a single guard or the giant snake. That would have been a caught count of 10 without the fantastic skip I learned from Zenthrow's guide. Next, I'll real quick explain the guard in front of Piranha Lake. I'll climb these bones, then jump down when the guard walks away, enter Piranha Lake, and that's really it. After ruining the fish population, no you don't get to watch, I'll bounce up to this fence, sneak along it, and then make my way into a grave undertaking. When this level starts, I get immediately caught by a ghost. Unless I jump through this hole. I call it the bone hole, cause it fucked me for 4 hours. This was the hardest thing ever, and I gotta give a shout out to Phaotic, Artery, and Ritsu for basically coming up with this, giving me proof of concept, and I also gotta give a shout out to King Dragoon 24 and Takei, who just really believed in me during my 4-hour boning. I like to think of myself as pretty good at Sly Cooper. Reality is cruel. I started my stream at 10 p.m. and I got here at 11 p.m. and started jumping and jumping and jumping and jumping and jumping. And by 3 a.m., I just had to call it a night. The next day, I allotted myself just 30 minutes to try it again. 25 minutes left, no luck. 20 minutes, 15, 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yes! 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 It was a matter of when! Fuck you, game! I'm sorry, I'm so loud right now. Oh, we're saving.
Now that I had skipped the first ghost, I could run all the way to the vault, and now it was just a matter of getting the key without alerting the last 2 gravestones. And there actually is an out-of-the-box way. See, spawners have a delay, if Sly takes damage when he's close enough to them. So from the vault, I just have to line Sly up with those far bottles, then run slightly left or forward. As soon as I hit the water, I'll immediately press X, run towards the bramble, and fall off again, immediately pressing X again. And when done right, I was able to jump over and break the 2 gravestones before any ghost could spawn and collect this key. And not for nothing, but the caught count without glitches here would have been 10. Well, now that I was done getting holed in the bone, I was off to the second half of the level, using this slope jump skip. Pretty cool, huh? Next, I dropped down to get the keys from Down Home Cooking, Ghastly Voyage, and then entered Descent into Danger for my last key. Descent into Danger has the best line in the game.
Oh my god, it's green waterfall!
But also, Sly can become Raccoon Jesus. Just hang on to that for a moment. First, as I get into the level, I can press circle to hook onto this bone vine, then immediately press X when the cane connects to gain some height to hop onto this platform, then onto this torch before the guard sees me. You know, this methodology is extra, it's unnecessary, and it's so much fun. Next, I'll go from this torch to the wall till the sweat drops down my ball, to the snakehead and end on the other snakehead. Then jump and lightly hold right, flip left, hold forward, and behold, the water walk skip. And by the way, this level would have only had a glitchless caught count of 2. This completes World 3 without getting caught a single time, as opposed to the 30 it could have fucking been. And once I unlock the cauldron and dance circles around Miss Ruby, I'll boogie over to World 4 Level 1, Smoke on the Water. No, a Perilous Ascent. This is a tough one. Without glitches, it's a caught count of 7. Oh, and I gotta start with a lucky charm. When Sly pops out of the van, I'll run left, then hold up on the D-pad. Line up the left side of the screen with the second brick in the distance. I am notably terrible at doing this. Once it is lined up, I'll stop running, jump, and on the descent, hold up again, then pause and spam R1 or L1 as I unpause. And then and the goal is to land on top of the icicle section. Once I'm up where I want to be, I'll set my grounded position here, and then I'll super jump down here, perch onto this post, line up Sly with the edge of the far trees, jump off and do a flip before I hit the death plane, and that will rocket me onto the building with the 3 guards inside. Shout out to Nightfly's guide for both the van proxy and the slingshot. And worth noting, I'm actually doing the slingshot wrong for this specific run. Now I can hop down, take out the walking flashlight guard, and then hit the 2 red rockets from outside the building to open the gate. Then I'll backtrack up the nearby slope, run to the checkpoint, then super jump to the next checkpoint. As I do that, the camera will get real cinematic, which creates a little trick called deloading. How it works is, enemies load based on their distance to the camera, not their distance to Sly. And even when they're totally deloaded, aka invisible, their hurt box is still active. So I can super jump to the next area and smack the purple guard before he even knows what hit him. And shout out to Ritsu for this trick. From here, I'll brave the small forest, grab the key, run on back, and enter inside the stronghold without alerting anyone. Once inside the stronghold, I'll pause and load my data, which places me above the first guard. This world would have a caught count of 22 if I was a glitchless baby player. Also, I'm going to leave to get a lucky charm. When I get back, I'll take out the sleeping guard, and then do what's called a boost jump, where basically, if Sly ledge grabs, I can super jump, then pause as I land, and press X 3 times fast to make Sly do a much higher initial jump, and this allows me to double jump onto the roof of the nearby building. As for this next trick, first I stand on this little snowbank, then follow X even Stevens X next steps. Hop to this ridge, turn out of bounds, fall, pause around here, line up with this building, unpause, and then once I hit the death plane, I should be launched into the giant panda statue's arm, starting the Panda King boss fight, making the caught count for Fire in the Skies an even 0. And once Panda King is burnt out, I'll blast off to only 2 levels count for World 5, a Daring Rescue, and a Strange Reunion. But why, you ask? Because those are the only 2 levels with alarms, and both are really easily done by just doing them normally. If in a Daring Rescue I don't get caught by a spotlight or laser, yeah, bada bing bada boom. And by the way, it didn't come up before, but the dart machines don't count because they have no alarm. As for a strange reunion, only the third phase matters, and thank God for save states because, look at this shit. Ah! Robot is not a raccoon? Damn. There we go.
Whoa! That bitch!
Eventually, though, I crack car off the skull of that robotic owl, and I finally hit. What a fucking terrible ending. No effort, smack clockwork with a low score of 4? Not this time. That may have been where it ended in my life, but in the aftermath, Ritsu came to my rescue. We're gonna do some cleanup. Back in a rocky start, Ritsu found several deloads to lower my score. Oh, also I'll need 2 lucky charms and a good chunk of money so I can get the 3rd charm down the line. Okay, first, from the van, I super jump around the front gate and then make my way to this elevated rock. I turn the camera left until it flies away, and then I'll super jump, partially blind, down to the Edis Cletus dog, of whom I unleash my rage on before he loads in. I'll be edging the next 2 guards, wink wink. And when I reach the jailbird dog outside of the subway car, I can get the camera stuck and then pause and move it left and right. Until it's stuck behind this set of rocks. Then I'll unpause and start swinging Sly's cane, running in blindly to defeat the guard, before the camera snaps back to Sly's position. For the card guard in the yard, I'm going to get as close as I can to these bottles before he sees me, then super jump back to the subway car and leap under it. As Sly is slingshotted back to his grounded position, I'll use the same pause camera trick as before to get it stuck, and then again blindly swing Sly's cane until I deck the card dog. This next trick is kind of insane. I'll drop down to the yellow car, stand near the seat, and then binocucom to this rock formation. When I close the binocucom, the camera should go completely black. It's because I turned the game off and I went to go touch grass. No, it's actually called a camera proxy. And what has happened is that the camera has been flung so far away, I can't even see the level anymore. And so now I have to blindly jump on top of the car and then into the next area without falling off, which happened to me a lot. Once I got the jump and didn't fall off, I will position Sly just right so when he swings his cane, he'll hit both Cletus dogs as the camera returns. After that, I'll go through the crushers and be met with a stick guard behind a fence. I'll stand by this burning trash can, pause, and then get the camera stuck way out here. Then yes, blindly run in and hit the stick guy before it snaps back. Aren't deloads so fun? As for the next 2 stick guys, I'll actually get right up to this shadow and super jump to the previous crusher. Move the camera next to it, leap off, and press X during the injury animation. I'm gonna hold left on the right stick to keep the camera stuck and then run up and stick it to those guards. Frustratingly, I didn't have enough money on my first try, so I left, got around 70 coins, did all those deloads again, just so I'd have a 3rd charm for this other jailbird dog. And I'll start this trick in the 2nd crusher, and super jump back through the 1st, then all the way down to the end of the road, then leap into this pit. I'll pause while Sly is flying back, and move the camera right about here to get it stuck. Then run forward, and you guessed it, swing blindly till I knock his block off. Get it? Block as in cell block. Jailbird dog. This just leaves the final guard, and I'll go into the subway cars, break the first alarm, and then just before said alarm, I'll leap up onto this broken piece of the car, then onto the roof, get to the last car, and when it tilts left, I'll hop and ledge grab repeatedly until I'm on the other side of the brick archway. Then pause and move the camera right till it's pushed up a bit. Then I'll move it left along this strip, and then get it stuck at the start of the subway cars. I then unpause, jump, and swing wildly until I knock out the final guard, grab the key, and complete a rocky start with 0 alerts. Which just leaves Mugshot's turf and 1 final guard to not get caught by. All of those complicated jumps and deloads pale in comparison to Gorgeous Lou. That's his actual name, by the way. First, I'll need to do both Murray missions, Murray's Big Gamble, which is easy to reach and get back from, but at the dog track, it's a little bit harder because it's guarded by 2 jailbirds. Ironically, if I use the catapult trick from before, I can get over this crane and leap into the load zone without alerting either guard. I didn't exactly do that, but I should have. Then when I return to Mugshot's turf, I load my data, and that'll place me at the start of the room. Next, I will knock out this flashlight guard, unlock the car and crash it into the wood planks. Then from this subway car, I'll super jump to the second half of the hub. And get the camera stuck on the outside. Move it around while it's paused to get it stuck out in the void. And it takes a little bit, so bear with me here. Then run in and smack the first guard. Now for the second guard, Ritsu sent me a method where I have to use a trash can to get to a higher area. But I refuse to play into stereotypes. Not all raccoons like trash is what I'm going to say since I couldn't get the jump. Instead, from the 5th step, I did a super jump out to the bridge and into the void. And then whammo, with way too much time spent and both guards beaten, I can make my way up here, get across to this balcony, and like before, super jump into Mugshot's boss fight with a confirmed caught count of 0. And that means I'm taking it back to that owl, and after having him take my stick to the mouth, I can confidently say yes. I can beat Sly Cooper and the thievius raccoonus without ever getting caught. And you probably could too. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to support me and my terrible jokes, join my Patreon with these lovely folks. And you can also see my next video by joining my $5 tier right now. Thanks for watching. Goodbye!